Hey, Karen Luke here. Today I'm going to talk about the most shocking things I found when I moved to Scotland. I moved to Scotland on the 14th of March, 1996. The Ides of March.
Beware the Ides of March.
Beware the Ides of March.
Beware the Ides of March.
No.
I had very little knowledge about Scotland. I had never been there before. I specifically moved to Edinburgh. I just had a feeling from the books that I'd seen that I was going to love it there. And boy, was I right. When I moved to Edinburgh, I rented a flat. It was in an area called Morningside. I saw the rent per month. I thought, yes, I can afford this. And then I got shocked when I got served with a tax bill. Apparently, when you rent somewhere, you have to pay the local tax. This is not something I was used to. But I was used to, if you just rent a flat, that's it. That's the monthly rent. Everything is included. I had to pay, I think, an extra £150 a month. This was not in my budget, but had to do it. When I arrived in 1996, it was the bumper year for movies in and about Scotland. If you're at all a Danny Boyle fan, there were two huge movies then. Shallow Grave.
What on earth could make you think we'd want to share a flat like this with someone like you?
And of course, Train Spotting. One of my all-time favorites. The third big movie of that year, Braveheart.
That they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
I am the type of person that when I move somewhere, I want to immerse myself right in the culture. I asked, what's a great show for me to watch so that I can learn more about Scottish culture? They suggested Ramsay Nesbitt.
We're all a twine and a couple of clays pigs, trying to kid one of my tranquil big bastard.
I watched that and thought, what is he saying? I also thought, this is Scottish culture?
I thought it was queer that fella in the butcher's apron, Marion.
As incomprehensible as Ramsay Nesbitt was, he was actually the inspiration for Johnny Depp when he played the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland.
Was brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble on the wave. Old Mimsy with the Burgroves and the Momrath's grave.
Sorry, what was that?
When I first moved to Edinburgh, I had big plans of my beloved bike and I just cycling all over the place. If it was a Saturday, I'd think, right, I'll get all my chores done, then I get on my bike and off I go. I really quickly learned you don't do that.
It's an unsettled picture as we head towards the end of the week.
Because the weather there is so unpredictable. If it's nice weather when you wake up on that Saturday morning, that's when you go for your bike ride.
This afternoon it'll be cold, wet and windy across most of Scotland.
Because 3 hours later you could be in a torrential rain. And that'll be it. Carpe diem.
Carpe diem. Seize the day.
Became the slogan. When I was working in my job, it was just off of Princess Street, which is right in the center of Edinburgh. I learned to take my umbrella for every single lunch hour because even if it was brilliant warm sunshine when my lunch hour started, not unusual for there to be a torrential downpour and then bright sunshine again. People talk about 4 seasons in one day.
4 seasons in one day.
In Scotland, 4 seasons in 1 hour. But it's absolutely true. When you live in a tourist city, I do understand that there are things you have to put up with, but nothing had prepared me for the bagpipes. Every lunch, I would want to have a bit of peace and quiet. Think, oh, I'm just going to go for a nice walk at lunch, find a little quiet green spot, and enjoy my food. I would sit down, the next thing you hear behind me, Bloody Bagpipes. So then I'd pick up my lunch, I go, right, I'm gonna find another little quiet spot. I'd go there, sit down, and the next thing you know, Bloody Bagpipes. And it was a chore to try to get away from those things, day after day. Oh, those bagpipes. Another thing that I just did not understand. The tattoo. And I'm thinking, I've got to get a tattoo? They kept going on and on about the tattoo. I was too embarrassed to ask about the tattoo. So I would just go, yeah. You wanna know what the tattoo is that they were talking about? And honestly, at any given time in Edinburgh, if you walk down the very famous Royal Mile, which is just down the road from the castle, they fairly regularly had just parades of bagpipes, especially during the summer months. You would probably see the odd bagpipe person just about anywhere. Of course, the food. We have to talk about the food. Scottish food,
What's in haggis?
Lamb's liver, lamb hearts, lamb lungs.
Our neeps and our tatties, that's turnip and potatoes.
But Scottish cuisine is famous for, well, deep frying pretty well everything. Deep fried pizza, or of course the famous deep fried Mars bars. I have never had it. Just gonna have to give a miss on that one. The other thing that I learned about Scotland fairly quickly too, I had bought a car when I got there, and I learned really quickly there are speed cameras everywhere.
I don't wanna slow down, I don't wanna slow down, I don't wanna slow down till I burn out.
When I came from Ontario, there was actually a big thing in the political parties there that they removed speed cameras from the roads. The speed cameras that were permanently fixed were a thing of the past. This was a big surprise to me when I came to Scotland. The other thing that was unusual is that anytime police do a traffic stop for any reason, any time of day or night, they do a breathalyzer. This law is completely foreign to me. I got stopped once, and I'm not even sure why I didn't have a traffic infraction. Because sometimes they're able to do just random stops. I think that's why they pulled me over. It's like every 10th vehicle. They pulled me over, and I was actually excited. Well, I was excited because I knew I was going to blow zero, because I don't know, it was noon or something like that. Not that I would blow any differently. I do not drink and drive.
Methinks the lady doth protest too much.
The lady dothn't.
So I was probably their most excited person to do a roadside screening device. I told you that I had immigrated to Scotland on the 14th of March, 1996, the day before I flew. Just outside of Edinburgh, in the small village of Dunblane, a gunman walked into Dunblane Primary School. In 3 or 4 minutes, he went in there and shot 32 people. He killed 16 little children and their teacher who tried to protect them. And there's one famous person that was a little student that day at Dunblane. Andy Murray. I did go to Dunblane a few days after I arrived in Scotland to pay my respects. And I remember the streets were absolutely lined with flowers. This actually resulted in the Firearms Amendment Act in 1997. This banned cartridge ammunition handguns in England, Scotland, and Wales. Since Dunblane, there has never been a single school shooting in the UK. Another thing that happened a few days after I arrived, the front page of the newspaper, The Scotsman, announced that Lady Hazel Cosgrove was the first woman appointed to the High Court in Scotland. The reason I was shocked is because, of course, I'm a lawyer and I just came from a jurisdiction where half of my High Court judges were females, where more than half of my lower court judges were females. Half of my colleagues at the bar were females. And when I saw that front page news story, I really thought, oh my God, what have I done? This is their first female? That was definitely a shock. Those are the things that shocked me then when I moved to Scotland. Anybody who knows me knows I am absolutely enthralled with all things Scottish. I strongly hope that if you ever get a chance to go to Scotland, please go there. It's a fantastic country. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. What do you think? Overdoing it? I'm thinking maybe I can't really pull off the beret. What can I say? I'm not a hat person.